What's up guys, Sand Legend here, back again with another One Piece Treasure Cruise video, and in today's video we'll be going over some more free-to-play teams of today versus DEX Clash bosses. So, I did upload a video quite a while ago where I did the same kind of for video, but it was for strength clashes. I didn't really explain what I was doing, but I'm going to do that right now. So what I'm doing is basically taking the very hard clashes and making free-to-play teams that we can make with today's units to try and take them on, just so I can see how far we've come in making free-to-play teams. And you know, I just thought it was a fun thing to do. It's very interesting to me anyway, because I know some of these clashes I never was able to do free-to-play, so I either had to like use gems to revive, or I had to basically like just find some way to I guess make a team where I can use like rare recruits and legends. But in this video, as you can see, I have made a bunch of free-to-play teams for all 6 of the DEX Clash bosses. So, like I said, we're going to be going over those teams today. So, without any further ado, let's get started. So the first team we're going to be going up against is going to be Clash Cracker. Now, Clash Cracker came out, I'm pretty sure it's the oldest, I wouldn't say it's the oldest Clash on here, if not, then the next one is. But Clash Cracker came out some while ago now at this point. And I have been looking through some of the older videos where people went over Clash Cracker, and the general consensus was that probably the better teams to run consisted of a V1 Akainu team or a V2 Dofi team, because of just how powerful those legends were when they debuted. But in today's video, we're going to be looking at a V2 Snake Man and Event Big Mom team. So the way this team works is for stage 3, we're actually going to be using the Zoro special to wave clear that entire stage, because I know that some of those mob characters do like some effects if you keep them alive. I just don't remember what effects they do, but I remember when I first played this clash that they did some pretty annoying things, so I'm just using Zoro to wave clear that entire stage, so we don't have to deal with that. On stage 4, we're going to be dealing with one of Cracker's Biscuit Soldiers, and what he's going to do is that he's going to put himself with a HP barrier and a 1-turn defense up blue shield. And he also is going to limit our specials to 1 per turn. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to use the Barto special to give us a chain boost for one thing, and to get rid of the defense of the Biscuit Soldier. And then we're going to use V2 Snake Man's super type ability to give us an attack boost. Also to note that if you do activate an attack boost on this stage, I think he does remove all your beneficial effects, so just be careful when you're making teams for this clash and not using an attack boost on the stage at all. And this actually should be able to easily let us clear the stage. Now there was no way I could like give us a matching slot, so we're just relying on RNG there. So on the next stage, we have stage 5, which is Cracker and a bunch of Biscuit Soldiers. Now all the Biscuit Soldiers all give Cracker some buffs, and if you kill all of those Biscuit Soldiers, then all those buffs are removed. So we're going to use Zoro to wave clear all of the Biscuit Soldiers to remove all of those buffs. And then we're going to use V2 Snake Man special to give us matching orbs and an orb boost, and we're going to use Marco Ace to give us a really good attack boost. With all this active, we should be able to kill Cracker very, very easily. So the next clash we're going to be looking at in today's video is going to be Clash Judge. Now I actually do remember when this clash came out, and I had a very hard time with this clash. It was very difficult for me personally when it first came out, but as you can see now, we have a team that actually can beat it very easily. So we're going to be using a Roger friend captain with the Event Whitebeard as our captain. Now the Whitebeard is actually just here to facilitate us having the super type special of Roger, so he's not really here for a special at all. So we're going to be using Zoro again, as you can see, to wave clear the next stage, because on stage 2 you actually get some quick mobs who are all going to reverse your specials if they're left alive after the first turn. So Zoro just helps us get past that stage pretty easily. On stage 4, we're going to be having to deal with some mob characters, and 3 of them are going to have barriers. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using Zoro on that stage 2 to get rid of those mob characters. But before we do that, we got to use the specials of Moria and Jack on that stage. Mostly because on stage 5 we are hit with another special limiter, limiting us to 2 specials per turn. So we're going to be using Moria on stage 4, who's going to give us an orb boost on the 4th stage, and he's also going to give a clock buff, which gives us an orb boost after the time is up, which is going to be the next stage. So that helps us get an orb boost for that stage, and then we're going to use Jack's special to give us a 3-turn color affinity boost, so that we can have it for stage 4 and stage 5. Then after that, Judge is actually going to give himself a 1-hit strength barrier, so we can actually use the super site special of Roger to give us our matching slots, and then we can use Buggy to give us all strength slots, which actually makes it to where we can use Roger first in attacking, so that we can get rid of the strength barrier, and then we can use all of our other strength units to attack Judge. So this is actually a fairly easy clash. Thinking back, obviously it was hard back then, but now in today's age with these teams, we're able to build teams just like this. They are able to just dominate these clashes. Alright, so the next clash is going to be Clash Bonnie. So Clash Bonnie was actually the introduction to one of the newer debuffs that we see like sort of here and there now today's age. Is going to be the Fear debuff. So Fear, if you don't know what Fear is, basically what it is that it's basically like Captain Despair to your crewmates. It shuts off all of their sailor abilities, so if you have anyone that reduces special bind with the sailor ability or special reverse with the sailor ability, they boost stats and make orbs beneficial. All that's just negated with Fear. So it was really annoying when it first came out because we really had no way of getting around it besides units that had the Fear debuff as their third potential ability. But then again, we had to have keys to unlock those abilities, and I don't think we had a consistent access to keys at that point. So it was actually kind of hard for this clash to be beaten. But as you can see here, we actually have a way to get around it. So we're going to be using Yamato as our friend captain, and we're going to use Treasure Map Zoro as our captain. Both of these characters actually basically win this clash for us, especially on the last stage, because we get hit with both bind and special bind, which both of these characters actually remove in their captain abilities. So it's pretty much GG for us for this team. But on stage 4, what's going to happen is that we have to deal with Sentamaru and some Pacifista, and they're going to give themselves a 5-turn defense up. So we're going to use the Rebecca to just bring it down to 0. They're also going to give us unfavorable slots, so we're going to use the combination of Sasaki to, for one, give us a lot of matching orbs, and then we're going to use the Yamato to give us the waddle slots, so that we can lock them with her super tight special. Because on the last stage, you actually get hit with an interrupt if you try to change slots, and I think it blocks your slots and it gives you the perfect slot chain. I think it is. I can't remember too well at this point, but it's something like that. So we're using Yamato and the lock specials to make sure we don't have to change slots. And then we're going to use Kawamatsu on the last stage to give us an attack boost, and then Nozoro on the last stage to give us an orb boost, and that whole stage is pretty much done with this team. Alright, so the next clash we're going to be looking at is Soba Mask. So Soba Mask is actually a very tricky boss to get around, mostly because of the types of gimmicks he has. Health cuts is especially prevalent in this clash, mostly because it's supposed to work with Legend Hawkins, which is what the clash was made for. But as you can see, we're not using Hawkins in this team. We're actually going to be using V1 Kaido as our captain, mostly because, as you can see, he can just wave clear everything. There is no normal attacks only on this stage, on this clash. The entire clash doesn't have that at all, so we can just wave clear with V1 Kaido. Now, another thing you may have noticed in the beginning of the run, we actually get a chain lock for basically the entire run, which kind of hinders a lot of our damage. But if you have enough damage output with other specials, it doesn't matter too much. But it does hinder some of our damage if we're trying to kill basic enemies. So just watch out for that. So for the rest, like basically everything up until stage 4, we're just wave clearing with Kaido. So stage 4, we're going to be using the Toko unit because we get inflicted with bind and the enemy gets a damage reduction. So we're going to be using Toko to get rid of all those things. Now, Toko actually came out with Soba Mask, so she's not available anymore. I think a good replacement will probably be Gikumaru, the Coliseum one. That's just a maybe on my part. I really don't know for sure. But that's just what I'm thinking about at the top of my head right now. So we're going to be using, like I said, Toko on this stage right here. And then we're going to use Neptune. Now, this Neptune is actually from the Chaos Coliseum, and I don't think it's available anymore. So, unfortunately, about that too, I guess. He's going to give us a 3-turn ore boost for Powerhouse and Striker units. So we actually get to carry that ore boost to the next stage because we do get interrupted on the final stage if we use an ore boost. Speaking of the final stage, we're actually going to be having to deal with Special Reverse, 4 turns of attack down and blindness for that fight. So the way we're going to get around all that is we're going to use the Coliseum Sangoro, who is going to reverse our specials and give us a color affinity boost for Powerhouse, Free Spirit, and some other class. I can't remember now. I think it's Cerebral. So those classes get a color affinity boost for the turn. And then we're going to use Weevil to give us a 2x attack boost and to get rid of all the attack down. Now we're not going to be able to get rid of the blindness, so we actually got to attack through it. So we're going to be using Kaido to at least cut some of his health down, so we don't have to worry too much about it. And we're going to use Kaido Big Mom to give us a bunch of matching slots and their better captain ability. So like I said, this clash is just a tiny bit tricky, and you just got to make sure your team is built correctly so you can take it on. Alright, so now we have to deal with Clash Marco. Now, Clash Marco was actually a pretty weird clash because it's actually made for the Magellan unit that came out with the Blackbeard and the Moria. So Magellan, like I said, is just really good for this clash. So we're going to be using a Halloween Boa and King team. A really weird combination if you ask me, but it worked. So what we're going to be doing is basically just, when we get to stage 3, we're going to be using the switch ability, the super swap, actually, of this Law and Chopper unit to give us a bunch of matching slots. And then we're going to use the Hina from the event with the Vivi, Rebecca, and the Shirahoshi Manshi with Christmas units. She actually does give us an ore boost for that turn. We're actually able to kill stage 3 pretty easily. Stage 4 is going to happen is we got to deal with defense up and damage reduction, I think it is. I mean, it may be threshold, I can't remember now. Whatever the Dofi gets rid of, that's what we got to deal with on that stage. And with that, we get matching slots, and we also got to deal with, getting enough boost for that turn. So we're actually going to be using both King and Boa in that order to give us enough damage to get rid of that stage. But then the problem comes with the fact that we have no more damaging specials to boosting damage specials to deal with the Marco stage. The way we're going to get around that is V4 Halloween Boa's captain ability actually comes in very clutch here, and so does her super type ability. So what she does is actually she gives the enemy the mirror effect. Now Marco, if you don't know, is not immune to everything, so you actually can apply the mirror effect to him, basically making him stall for however long the mirror effect lasts. And this actually is enabling us to get our specials back so that we can use them when we actually burst them down. There is going to be a skip in the video, just forewarning you now. There's going to be a skip in the video where it just jumps from me stalling to me having all the specials ready. And as you can see, I'm going to be using the Hina to give us the orb boost, and then we're going to use Sasaki. I think we used Sasaki a turn earlier to give us the damage reduction and matching slots. We're going to use King and then Boa again in that order to give us the attack and the base attack boost and the chain lock. Now, one other thing that's also going to happen on this stage is when you kill Marco, he is going to basically deal death damage to you, and depending on how much health you have. But I found out with this team, if you have like the right amount of health and enough damage reduction, you actually only need to take around 20,000 damage. I think it's a lot more without the damage reduction. So just keep that in mind when you're building teams for this clash, that if you have like the right amount of damage reduction, you can take a certain amount of damage without dying. And then on the revive stage, we actually have the attack boost from King still, and the base attack boost and chain lock from Boa. So we actually are able to easily take that mark on the revive. Now for the last team in this video is obviously going to be the hardest clash I had to deal with. This clash took me so long to get right because I just kept dying on the last stage. This clash is pretty difficult if you don't have the right units. So the way this clash works is that on stage 3 we're going to be dealing with Kizaru and a lot of mob units. Kizaru is going to reverse our top 2 row specials by 5 turns, so we actually have to stall on that stage. But the mobs are they go up to a 3-turn cooldown, and after they, like right before their one-time timer goes away, they actually boost their attack by 20 times. So basically, if you let them attack you, you die. Like your run is kind of over at that point. So on stage 4, we got to deal with Mr. 1 and a bunch of other mob characters that have really low health. And what he's going to do is he's going to put up a 6-turn defense up, and I think he's going to give you your team increased damage taken, which is probably the most annoying debuff for this clash specifically. So we're going to get around this is we're going to use Garp to, one, reduce our specials so that we can use them again, and give us some matching slots to deal with this stage. And I think he also gives us attack boost too, so that's pretty good for Garp. And we're going to use Rebecca to basically reduce the defense of all the characters on that stage and give us a chain boost. So with all that active, we're actually able to easily take care of stage 4. Now stage 5 is where the problems start. So I think actually when you kill Mr. 1, you get special binded. So for the next stage, you actually are special binded for a bit. But we're actually able to get rid of it using Nami Sanji as our crewmate here. They're also going to give us an orb boost for that turn. And since we only have one buff active, we actually are able to use the Straw Hat characters to give us the rest of our boosts. Now, the hard thing about this clash is that what Crocodile does is that he cuts your HP by 75%. I think is what the number is. And then he does inner damage. Now, the inner damage is actually amplified because we actually are still under the increased damage taken, which is where a lot of teams actually die from, because they take too much damage from that preemptive attack, and then on the revive, because he does revive after you kill him, you get hit with inner damage again, and it actually does kill you. So that was the trouble with this team, was actually having enough health to do this with. So as you can see, we have like 60,000 health or something like that. Around that number is where you kind of want to be, so you can actually have enough health to tank it. Because as you'll see, I do have just enough damage, just enough health to be able to tank both hits. And then he does slot bind your entire crew after you revive too, so there's no point in bringing out a orb boost. But we still have the Straw Hat abilities, Straw Hat crew specials active on that revive turn, so we're actually able to kill them on that turn too. But he also does to spare our captains, so by 10 turns too. So we actually got to use 2 specials, which is going to be the X-Tray QC and the Hawkins. They both get rid of the spare by combined turns of 8, I'm pretty sure. So it's actually able to help us get rid of all of the spare, so we're actually able to kill Crocodile. So I'll just leave you guys with the rest of this clip here. And if you did enjoy today's video, please hit the like button, subscribe, and comment down below. It really helps the channel out, and I will see you guys in the next video.